This is my blog post number 4 from Friday's topic of discussion in class for later today. So the first thing that I really liked about the readings was the article about warm demanders, because I think that that is kind of what a lot of students need and they're not getting. And I guess when I'm reading about warm demanders, and they're describing, the teachers kind of yelling a little bit, and I think that that works for some people, but I also think that I see the warm demanders as a much bigger, I guess, all-encompassing type of dealing with children, especially in the elementary, because I think that kids need warmth to some extent, and especially those kids who don't have that nurture at home need that, but being able to give them that nurture without lowering your expectations for them is sometimes really difficult to do, because kids are really cute, and when you know their stories from home, it's really hard to sometimes be firm with them, and not even if you're not yelling, but just being that very strict disciplinarian that's saying, no, you're not getting out of your seat till this is done, because you can do this and you're going to do it. It can be difficult, and so I think that I think warm demanders I think it could be a variety of things, and I think it's not just that person up in the front yelling and also giving those kids warmth and giving them explanation, but I think that that's so helpful, and I found that in my last placement that was what a lot of the kids really needed, and they needed those hugs throughout the day, and they needed all of that extra attention, but if you let them get away with that or use it as an excuse, use their situation as an excuse, it was just a slippery slope. And I really like that in multiple places. Talked about excuses. I think one quote that I have right here is that poverty is not seen as an excuse for failure with warm demanders. And my cooperating teacher that I worked with was by far the nicest, warmest person you'll ever meet. And she would always talk about how she struggled with that, because she had a hard time knowing their home life, knowing that this child just got taken out of a meth lab, and we had probably about a third of our class was homeless. I mentioned that in the last blog, and knowing their home lives, it's sometimes hard to be so rough on these little 6 and 7-year-olds when they're experienced so much more than I've ever experienced in my life. But it's so important for them to have that high demand and that high expectation, and not let it ever be an excuse. It cannot be an excuse, that they didn't sleep last night and now they don't want to do anything in school. You have to say, no, you're here, you're going to learn with us, you're going to do everything that the rest of the kids are doing because you need to, and it's for your own good, but not in those words for little kids, clearly. So I really like that, and I think it takes on many forms, and I just like that term of warm demanders. And then I think that something else that, from my experience, is really important for these kids is all kids, but especially kids from low-income families that might not necessarily have a model of success, either behaviorally or academically. They don't know what it looks like necessarily, and that's true for a lot of kids, though. You don't know what the expectations are, so I think clearly defining those in your classroom is very important, and also just defining them for individuals, because one thing I took away from my master's the research I did for that paper was in a Montessori school, because my paper was integrating Montessori theory into traditional classrooms, was that Montessori was big on individual success. So the teachers would often say, are you successful right now? Are you setting yourself up for success? And it was a constant thing that they always heard, are you being successful, not are you messing around, or are you doing this? And I think that it translates from behavior into academics, and I just love the idea of kids knowing what success looks like for them personally, and knowing that if I make these choices, I can be successful, and giving them that power to say, oh, okay, well, I'm sitting next to this boy, and we tend to play together. I'm not being successful, or I can't do my work when I'm, when I have all my pencils out of my desk because I tend to play with those. Just little things like that, getting them to see their own successes is a really powerful thing for them, and I think can be used from K all the way through 12th grade, and just just setting those expectations at the beginning of the year and kind of letting them know that they won't be getting away with using excuses and things like that. I'm over my time, so this is it, I think.